The rain hammered the streets of Brooklyn like it was trying to wash away the city's sins, and in that downpour, I found him, a shivering mutt curled up under a bench in Prospect Park, ribs poking through fur matted with mud. My umbrella flipped inside out 2 blocks back, so I was soaked anyway, but something in those pleading brown eyes hit me harder than the cold. I knelt down, whispering nonsense promises as I wrapped him in my jacket. That's when the world tilted. Headlights cut through the storm. A sleek black SUV pulled up, and out stepped a man who looked like he'd walked off the set of some indie film. Tall, broad-shouldered, with rain-slicked dark hair and a jawline that could cut glass. His voice slicing through the noise like thunder. "That's my dog, Riley. What the hell do you think you're doing?" I froze, the bundle in my arms suddenly feeling like contraband, my heart slamming against my ribs as if it knew this stranger was about to upend everything. He strode toward us, trench coat flapping like a cape in a noir flick, his green eyes narrowing not in anger exactly, but in that sharp mix of suspicion and raw vulnerability that made my stomach flip. I thought he was a stray. I stammered, holding Riley tighter, the dog's tail thumping weakly against my chest as if vouching for me. He was alone, freezing. I couldn't just leave him. The man, Alex, I learned later, though in that moment he was just a force of nature, stopped inches away, close enough that I caught the faint scent of cedar cologne cutting through the petrichor, his gaze flicking from the dog to me, lingering a beat too long on my face, my drenched shirt clinging to skin I suddenly wished I'd hidden better. He exhaled, running a hand through his hair, water dripping from his lashes like unshed tears. "Riley's not a stray. He bolted during my run this morning." Damn leash snapped. There was an edge to his voice, Brooklyn-born but polished, like he'd clawed his way up from the same gritty streets I knew too well. I handed over the dog reluctantly, our fingers brushing in the exchange, a spark jumping despite the chill that had me teeth chattering. Alex cradled Riley like a lifeline, murmuring soft apologies to the pup, but his eyes stayed on me, probing, as if I'd stolen more than a momentary companion. "You saved him. Thank you, really. I'm Alex Harlan." He extended a hand, and when I took it, firm and warm against my icy one, I felt the first crack in the walls I'd built around my heart after years of hiding who I was in a world that still whispered slurs behind closed doors. We ended up at a 24-hour diner 2 blocks away, the kind with sticky vinyl booths and coffee that tasted like regret, because neither of us wanted the night to end just yet. Or maybe that was just me projecting. Riley sprawled across the table between us, gnawing on a napkin Alex had torn into shreds, his occasional yawns punctuating the awkward rhythm of our conversation. "So, hero of the storm," Alex said, sliding a mug my way, steam curling up like a question mark. "What's your story? You don't strike me as the type to play white knight for strays." I laughed, a rusty sound that surprised even me, and told him the edited version. Jamie Reyes, 32, graphic designer scraping by in a Bushwick walk-up, dodging family expectations back in Queens where my parents still prayed I'd find a nice girl to fix my face. I left out the nights I'd spent scrolling Grindr profiles only to ghost at the last minute, terrified of the rejection that echoed every homophobic jab I'd endured since coming out at 20. Alex listened, his fork paused midair over a plate of half-eaten eggs, those green eyes holding mine without flinching. A rarity in a city where eye contact felt like an invitation to trouble. He was a lawyer, he said, specializing in civil rights, the kind who fought for folks like us in courtrooms stacked against dreamers and outcasts. Undocumented immigrants, LGBTQ plus families, anyone the system's rigged to forget, he explained, his voice dropping on that last part, a subtle weight that made my pulse quicken. Was it the way he said it, like he was including me in some secret club, or the accidental graze of his knee against mine under the table? Either way, by the time the waitress cleared our plates at dawn, with the rain easing to a drizzle outside, I'd given him my number in case Riley needs another rescue. He texted before I hit my stoop. "Coffee tomorrow? Non-negotiable. You owe me for the heart attack." That first coffee turned into lunches, then evenings walking Riley through the park where it all started, the city unfolding around us like a backdrop to something neither of us named yet. Alex was a storm wrapped in calm, fierce in debates over craft beers at dive bars, quoting Baldwin and Lord like scripture, but gentle when he'd sling an arm around my shoulders during a late-night movie, pretending it was just bro friendship even as his thumb traced lazy circles on my arm. I fell hard, the kind of fall that sneaks up on you, disguised as easy camaraderie. But shadows lurked. His ex, a high-powered editor named Marcus who'd left scars deeper than the ones from my own closet days, whispering doubts that Alex was just rebounding, using me to fill a void. And then there was my sister Elena, back from nursing school in Philly, who cornered me one Sunday brunch. Jamie, he's too good-looking, too put together. Guys like that, they break hearts like yours for sport. Her words stung because they echoed my fears, the ones born from high school lockers slammed in my face, from my father's disappointed sighs when he found my hidden copy of Giovanni's Room. Weeks blurred into a rhythm that felt dangerously like home. Stolen glances over takeout Thai, Riley's head in my lap as Alex read case files aloud, his voice wrapping around legal jargon like poetry. The first kiss happened on a fire escape during a blackout. The city plunged into starlit darkness, our silhouettes merging against the brick as his lips found mine. Tentative at first, then hungry, like he'd been starving for this since that rainy night. "I've wanted to do that since the diner," he murmured against my neck, breath hot and uneven. And I believed him, let myself believe, even as the power flickered back on and reality crept in with the dawn. But drama doesn't wait for happy endings. It crashed in like a verdict from a biased judge the night of the Pride March planning meeting at Alex's loft in Williamsburg. I tagged along, nerves jangling because crowds still made my skin crawl after a bad rally experience years back. Beer bottles flying, slurs hurled like grenades. The group was a vibrant mess, trans activists with megaphones, queer elders sharing war stories, and me, the quiet artist sketching logos on napkins to stay grounded. Alex shone, facilitating with that effortless charisma, but tension simmered when a new volunteer, Derek, a burly ex-Marine with a buzz cut and a chip on his shoulder, challenged the route, muttering about not shoving it in straight folks' faces. Eyes turned, and Alex shut it down smooth. But later, alone in the kitchen nursing IPAs, Derek cornered me. "You Harlan's latest charity case? Word is, he collects strays, dogs, causes pretty boys like you." The jab landed low, stirring old insecurities, and I laughed it off. But the seed took root, poisoning the afterglow of Alex's proud grin when he introduced me as the guy who saved my best friend. Doubt festered like an untreated wound. I pulled back, canceling plans with flimsy excuses about deadlines, burying myself in freelance gigs that paid the rent but starved the soul. Alex noticed. Of course he did. Showing up at my door with Riley and a six-pack, his face etched with worry lines that aged him unfairly. "Talk to me, Jamie. Did I do something?" We sat on my threadbare couch, the dog wedged between us like a furry mediator, and I spilled it all. The fear that I was just a rebound, a feel-good story in his portfolio of fixes, not the real deal. He listened, then cupped my face, thumbs brushing tears I hadn't realized were falling. "Marcus wrecked me because he couldn't handle the fight, the stares, the threats. But you? You're the one who sees me, not the lawyer or the activist. You're home." His kiss that night was a seal, a vow whispered in the dark, and for a while, it held. Summer heat baked the city into submission, and with it came the march, a riot of rainbows and chants that pulsed through Manhattan like a heartbeat. We marched side by side, hands linked defiantly, Riley's bandana a splash of pink amid the throng. But high on the euphoria, we missed the undercurrents, a counter-protest brewing on the fringes, fueled by online bile from groups who'd doxed Alex before for his pro-trans briefs. The clash erupted near Union Square, fists and flags flying, screams drowning out the drums, and in the chaos, I lost him. Panic clawed my throat as I shoved through the melee, calling his name until my voice cracked. Found him bloodied but unbowed, shielding a young queer kid from blows, his eyes wild when they met mine. "Jamie, get Riley out." But I couldn't leave, not him, not us. And as sirens wailed closer, we clung together, the world blurring into a haze of adrenaline and unspoken promises. Recovery was a battlefield of its own. Alex's loft became a war room of ice packs and takeout, his busted lips swelling like a badge of honor, while I fussed over stitches that pulled when he laughed at my bad jokes. But beneath the banter, cracks widened. His firm pulled a case involving a homophobic assault, dragging him into depositions that left him hollow-eyed and distant. "It's eating me alive," he confessed one midnight, staring at the ceiling as rain pattered the skylight, a cruel echo of our start. Seeing victims like that kid, it reminds me why I fight, but God, the hate, it's endless. I held him then, his head on my chest, feeling the tremor in his frame, the weight of a world that chipped away at warriors like him. My own battles mirrored his. Elena's wedding invite arrived, a gilded envelope demanding I bring a +1 who could pass for straight in our family's prying eyes, forcing me to confront the chasm between the brother they wanted and the man I'd become. The twist came unannounced, a gut punch in the form of Marcus. He sauntered into Alex's life like a ghost from a bad sequel, just checking in after hearing about the March brawl via mutual friends. I walked in on them at a cafe near the loft. Alex rigid, Marcus all charm and cologne, his hand lingering too long on Alex's arm as he cooed sympathies. Jealousy flared hot and ugly, mingling with the Derek poison still lingering in my veins. "Old flame," I asked later, voice sharper than intended, and Alex's defensiveness confirmed it. "He's reaching out as a friend. That's all." But doubt whispered louder, and when Marcus texted me, anonymously at first, then bold, claiming Alex always traded up, when things got real, I shattered. Confrontation exploded that night. Accusations flying like shrapnel, Alex's hurt eyes accusing me of betrayal before words even formed. "You think I'm playing you? After everything?" He stormed out, Riley trailing bewildered, leaving me in the echo of slammed doors and regrets. Days stretched into a chasm. I wandered Brooklyn's veins, sketching feverishly in notebooks that bled with half-formed portraits of him. His laugh lines, the scar on his knuckle from a childhood fall. Pride's afterglow soured into isolation. Friends from the March group texted check-ins, but I ghosted, convinced I'd ruined the one good thing I'd found. Elena called, her voice soft through the line. "Mijo, love isn't a phase to hide from. Remember Abuela's stories?" She fought for her heart against worse odds. Her words pierced, dragging up memories of our grandmother's quiet defiance, marrying for love in an era when brown skin and passion were crimes. I reached out to Alex, a voicemail raw with apology, admitting my fears stemmed not from him, but from a lifetime of flinching at shadows. He showed up at dawn, disheveled from a sleepless stakeout on my stoop, Riley's leash taut in his fist. "I can't lose you over ghosts," he said, voice gravel rough, pulling me into an embrace that smelled of coffee and resolve. We talked till the sun crested, unraveling threads. Marcus's manipulations exposed as desperate bids for control, my insecurities laid bare like open wounds needing air. The real villain emerged, not exes or bigots, but the silence we'd both mastered too well. "No more hiding," Alex vowed, his fingers tracing mine. "We're in this. Fights, families, the whole messy fight." Laughter bubbled up then, tentative, as Riley wedged between us, tail wagging like applause. Fall painted the park in golds and crimsons, mirroring the tentative bloom in us. We navigated minefields. My parents' dinner, where Dad's gruff silences met Alex's steady gaze, Elena's knowing wink bridging the gap, till Ma pulled me aside, tears glistening. "He makes you shine, Iho." That's enough. Alex's world cracked open too, introducing me to his sister Lila, a fiery lesbian chef who grilled him on commitment like a cross-exam, then hugged me fierce. "Welcome to the chaos." Twists lingered, small but sharp. Derek's apology at a group mixer, grudging but genuine, revealing his own buried pains from military service. A case win that had Alex weeping in my arms, victory bittersweet against systemic rot. Yet the deepest turn waited in winter's grip. A call from Alex's firm, a landmark suit against a chain of clinics denying care to queer youth, and he wanted me involved, designing visuals that humanized the stories, turning statistics into faces. Late nights in his loft, surrounded by mock-ups and Riley's snores, we built something bigger than us. But pressure mounted, threats trickled in, anonymized emails echoing March slurs, and one snowy evening, Alex collapsed mid-argument over strategy, exhaustion claiming him in a heap on the floor. Ambulance lights flashed blue against the window, my hand in his as paramedics swarmed, heart monitor beeping accusations at my oversight. Hospital corridors stretched endless, Lila pacing beside me, her grip bruising. He's tough, but even warriors break. He pulled through, dehydration and burnout, the doctor said, but the scare reshaped us. Discharged into a blanket fort on the couch, we whispered futures, road trips to national parks, adoptions beyond Riley, a life stitched from shared scars. You stole my heart that night in the rain, Alex murmured, convalescing in my lap. But I think I pickpocketed yours first. Laughter mingled with tears, the kind that cleanses. Spring thawed the city, and with it, resolutions. Elena's wedding became our debut. Alex in a suit that hugged his frame, me beaming as best man, toast skirting edges of truth till ma clinked glasses, to loves that endure storms. Back in Brooklyn, under that same park bench now blooming with crocuses, we knelt with Riley, rings simple bands glinting in sunlight, vows exchanged not in ceremony, but in quiet promise. The world still raged, headlines of setbacks, whispers of doubt, but in each other's eyes, we found the hook that started it all, a stray chance, a handsome stranger, hearts stolen and reclaimed. No endings, just chapters unfolding, dramatic and tender, in the unyielding pulse of a city that bent but never broke us. The ceremony was intimate, held in a rooftop garden overlooking the East River, where the wind carried hints of salt and freedom. Elena glowed in white lace, her veil dancing like a flag of surrender to joy, and as I stood beside Victor, her steady firefighter with a grin that disarmed even Dad's skepticism, I felt the weight of family shifting. Alex squeezed my hand under the table during speeches, his thumb a silent anchor, but tension hummed beneath the laughter, Dad's eyes flicking to us, calculating, while Ma chatted animatedly with Lila about recipes that bridged cultures. When Elena caught the bouquet, deliberately tossed my way, she winked, mouthing, "Your turn," and heat crept up my neck, visions of forever clashing with the fear that roots like mine couldn't bloom in such open light. Back home, the high faded into routine's embrace, but surprises lurked in the mundane. One crisp October morning, a package arrived at my studio, and signed, wrapped in brown paper that crinkled like secrets. Inside, a leather-bound sketchbook, pages filled with pencil studies of us. Riley mid-leap, my profile lost in thought, Alex's hand on my shoulder from that fire escape night. Tucked in the back, a note in looping script, "You capture souls on paper. Let me capture yours on canvas sometime." And my stomach dropped. Marcus, striking from the shadows, his artistic soul, a Trojan horse for reconciliation. I showed Alex that evening over pizza on the floor, his jaw tightening as he traced the drawings. Beautiful, invasive. "He's testing boundaries," he said, voice low, crumpling the note. "Block him. We're done dancing to his tune." But Marcus didn't fade. He escalated, appearing at a gallery opening where I unveiled designs from Alex's case. Bold graphics of intertwined hands in rainbow hues, symbolizing solidarity. He sidled up amid the wine sippers, all urbane smiles. "Jamie, right?" Alex always had an eye for talent. His praise dripped condescension, eyes appraising me like a rival acquisition. I held ground, citing the work's impact, clinics reopening, lives affirmed, but he leaned in, breath sour with red. "He'll burn out on crusades." I know. I watched it happen. The barb hooked deep, and I fled to the balcony, gulping night air until Alex found me, his presence a balm. "Ignore the noise," he urged, pulling me close. But sleep evaded that night, Marcus's words echoing my deepest dread, that our love was a phase in Alex's arc of intensity. Conflict crested at Thanksgiving, a minefield of traditions in my parents' Queens Row house. Dad manned the turkey like a general, Mom orchestrated sides with maternal precision, Elena and Victor arriving with pie and baby announcements that lit the room. Alex fit seamlessly, charming Dad with stories of pro bono wins, helping Mom with gravy without fanfare, but undercurrents swirled. Lila couldn't make it, sidelined by a kitchen flood, so it was us against the unspoken. Dinner devolved when Dad, loosened by Merlot, launched into politics. These activists pushing too far, marches, demands. Folks just want normalcy. The table stilled, forks hovering, and Alex's response was measured fire. Normalcy for who, sir? The ones writing the laws or the ones they're written against? Dad bristled. Elena jumped in with deflections, but the damage lingered, a chill settling as plates cleared. Outside later, under sodium streetlights, Alex paced the sidewalk, Riley sniffing hydrants oblivious. I pushed too hard, he admitted, guilt etching his face. Your family, I don't want to be the wedge. I pulled him into a hug, the cities hum a distant roar. You're the bridge, Alex. Dad's old school, it'll take time. But inside, turmoil churned. Was I strong enough to mediate, or was I dooming us to fractured holidays? Marcus texted then, a poison arrow. Heard about the family dinner. Alex always ruins the vibe. Call if you need an out. Rage boiled, and I deleted it, but the seed of escape tempted, a whisper of easier paths untaken. Winter deepened the rifts. Alex's case hit fever pitch, depositions dragging into holidays, witnesses crumbling under cross-exam pressure. He came home, shattered one eve, collapsing onto the couch in a cashmere coat smelling of courthouse despair. They threatened her, the mom. Said they'd take her kids if she testified. His voice broke, and I held him as sobs racked his frame, Riley whining at our feet. That vulnerability cracked me open. I saw the boy beneath the armor, the one who'd lost his own dad to cancer young, channeling grief into justice. You're changing the world, I whispered, kissing his temple, but doubt not. Could I sustain him through this war, or would I falter, a civilian in his foxhole? The pivot came unexpectedly, a call from an old college buddy, Theo, now a therapist in the village. Heard you're with Harlan, brave man. Ever think about couples counseling? Not cause you're broken, but cause fighters need refueling. Skeptical, I pitched it to Alex over hot cocoa in bed. Riley curled at our toes. He hesitated, pride flickering, then nodded. If it keeps us solid. Sessions unfolded in a cozy office strung with fairy lights. Theo's gentle probes peeling layers. My abandonment fears from Dad's emotional distance. Alex's control issues rooted in Marcus's chaos. Revelations tumbled. Alex confessed idolizing my quiet strength, while I admitted envying his fire, feeling dim beside it. Theo smiled. You're the bellows to his flame. Progress felt fragile, but real, mending threads with humor-laced homework like vulnerability dates. Yet fate loves irony. As snow blanketed Brooklyn, a blizzard trapped us indoors, power flickering like our early days. Candles cast shadows on walls papered with case clippings, and in that cocoon, truths spilled freer. Alex revealed a hidden scar, not physical, but a letter from his dad, penned pre-death. Son, fight fair, love fierce. Don't let the world harden you. Tears traced his cheeks. I shared my own relic, a faded photo of Abuela, arm around her wife in sepia tones, defying eras. She taught me love's a rebellion, I said, and we vowed to honor it, bodies entwined in warmth, not passion's fire but soul's quiet forge. Spring's thaw brought renewal, but not without tempests. Marcus's final gambit, a leaked email chain from his editor days, twisting Alex's words to paint him as unstable, in court, jeopardizing the clinic suit. Scandal erupted, headlines in local rags, donors wavering, and Alex spiraled, nights pacing till dawn. Victory tasted bittersweet, celebrated with rooftop toasts as cherry blossoms rained. But the ordeal forged us unbreakable. Alex proposing amid petals, ring a simple twist of silver etched with Riley's paw print. Marry me, Jamie, not to fix anything, but to build everything. Yes tumbled from lips, laughter echoing into twilight. Summer hummed with plans, venue hunts in the park, Lila's menu tastings blending Puerto Rican spice with Midwestern comfort. Yet drama shadowed joy, a health scare for Ma, routine tests turning urgent, pulling us to Queens for vigils in sterile halls. Alex held Dad's hand in waiting rooms, bridging silences with quiet stories of his own losses, and in that shared fragility, walls dissolved. Dad's gruff, "You're good for him," over hospital coffee was absolution enough. As wedding day dawned golden, Prospect Park alive with birdsong, I stood in a suit tailored sharp, heart pounding under starched collar. Alex waited at the arbor, Riley in a bow tie flower boy, eyes locking as I walk the aisle lined with our patchwork family. Elena's clan, Lila's crew, March allies cheering. Vows rang true. In storms and sun, I choose you. Rings slid home, kisses sealed under applause, the stray who'd started it all barking approval. Life post-vows unfolded in waves, honeymoon hikes in the Catskills, adoptions of a sister, mutt named Luna, Alex's firm expanding to include my designs and advocacy. Conflicts arose, as they do, budget strains from case travels, flare-ups of old insecurities during family merges. But we navigated with tools honed, therapy check-ins, park walks where honesty flowed like the first rain. Years later, under that bench now a plaque for stray hearts, we'd reminisce, kids, adopted, a boy with Alex's eyes, a girl with my curls, tugging at leashes of pups long gone. The world evolved, prejudices cracking under persistent pressure, but our story remained. A hook in the rain, a theft of hearts reclaimed, love's dramatic tapestry woven from misunderstandings mended, biases bent, in America's unyielding beat. Autumn leaves crunched underfoot as we navigated the post-wedding glow, but reality's underbelly soon reared. Alex's promotion to partner meant longer hours, depositions bleeding into weekends, leaving me to solo parent our growing menagerie and the freelance grind that barely covered art supplies for the kids. Theo warned us in a check-in, success amplifies shadows, don't let it eclipse your light. We tried, date nights squeezed between bedtime stories, but resentment simmered, my sketches piling up untouched while Alex buried in briefs. The first real fracture hit over Christmas, his firm gala clashing with Ma's annual Noche Buena, forcing a choice that felt like tree-off. Family first, I urged, but his sigh cut deep. This network could fund the whole youth program. We went to the gala, me in ill-fitting rented tux, smiling through toasts to power players who eyed me like an accessory, and by New Year's, the fight erupted, accusations of neglect hurled like ornaments from the tree. "You're vanishing into that suit," I yelled, voice echoing in the loft now cluttered with baby gates and law tomes. Alex fired back. "And you're retreating to canvases, Jamie, like I'm the villain for building something stable." Riley, gray-muzzled now, whimpered from his bed, Luna nosing my leg as if mediating. We slept apart that night, the king bed a chasm, Dawn bringing hungover apologies over cold tamales. Elena mediated via video, her toddler gurgling in lap. "You two are idiots in love. Talk, don't explode." It worked, marginally, rescheduling Noche Buena as a hybrid, me joining a virtual deposition sketch session, but the scar itched, a reminder that even reclaimed hearts could bruise. Spring brought balm and bolt alike. Ma's remission party, a backyard feast where Dad pulled Alex aside for a rare cigar chat, emerging with claps on back that spoke volumes. "He said your family," Ma whispered, her hug fierce. Joy swelled. But then the call, Theo, voice grave. "Alex, your stress panels flagged high. Burnout's knocking." Denial flared. Alex doubled down, taking a pro bono flood case for queer evacuees post-hurricane. I supported, designing relief graphics that trended, but watched him fray, eyes hollow, temper short with the kids over spilled crayons. The climax crashed during a family hike in the Palisades. Mateo, our 5-year-old, tugging Alex's sleeve for a piggyback, met with a snapped, "Not now." The boy's lip quivered, my heart fracturing as I scooped him up, glaring. "He's breaking," I hissed later by the river, water rushing indifferent. Alex deflated, sinking to rocks. I don't know how to stop. The need, it's endless. That vulnerability unlocked floodgates. Back home, we canceled the next week's briefs, holing up with board games and therapy intensives. Theo guided us through role reversals, me voicing the isolation of solo parenting, Alex confessing terror of failing the causes that defined him. Revelations tumbled, his dad's letter resurfacing, read aloud till sobs subsided into plans. Boundaries with the firm, a sabbatical fund seeded from my rising illustration gigs. Lila visited, her restaurant booming, bearing empanadas and blunt advice. "Delegate, dummy. Heroes need sidekicks." Laughter healed, tentative bridges rebuilt. Summer's heat wave tested resilience. A new threat, Online trolls doxing Alex after a viral op-ed on trans rights. Death threats pinging his phone like shrapnel. Paranoia crept, checking locks twice, varying routes to school drop-offs. I channeled fear into art. A mural series for the community center, portraits of survivors staring down hate with defiant eyes. Unveiling night drew crowds. Alex speaking raw. Fear wants isolation. We choose connection. Marcus lurked in periphery. A like on the post, then a private message. Proud of you both. No strings. We blocked, but the ghost lingered, a reminder of battles won but vigilance eternal. Twist turned Tinder when Mateo, crayon in fist, drew us as superheroes. Capes fluttering, hearts linked by rainbow lasso. You save the world together, he beamed, and tears pricked as Alex knelt. Like you save ours every day, champ. Family therapy with the kids followed, Theo adapting sessions to finger paints and stories, teaching empathy in bites. Elena's clan joined for a weekend retreat upstate. Cabins by a lake. Bonfires crackling tales of heritage. Dad, softened by Grandpa Judy's, shared war stories from his factory days. Parallels to Alex's fights drawing nods. Worlds always picking sides. Pick yours wise. Fall harvested growth. Alex's sabbatical kicked off with a cross-country drive. Route 66 in reverse, from Brooklyn to Cali beaches. Kids wide-eyed at redwoods and diners. Pit stops birthed memories. Sketching saguaros while Alex chased waves with Sophia, our 3-year-old firecracker. A flat tire in Nevada stranded us at a motel with flickering neon, forcing unplug, cards by lantern light, confessions under stars. I almost lost this, Alex murmured, arm around me as semis rumbled past. You, us, the real work. Vows renewed in whispers, the road ahead straighter. Winter wrapped us in quiet revolutions. Back in the loft, now with a studio nook for my commissions. Book covers blending queer narratives with urban grit. Alex mentored interns, passion reignited sans blaze. Conflicts nipped. Sophia's preschool insisting on mommy crafts. Met with our gentle advocacy till policies bent. Dad's health dipped. Prostate scare, but he leaned on Alex for dock runs, their bond a quiet triumph. Ma hosted Passover seders fused with Three Kings feasts, symbols mingling like our lives. The deepest arc crested at our 5th anniversary, a vow renewal in the park, under rain-kissed skies echoing our start. Friends gathered. Derek, now an ally in security for events. Theo toasting with psych jabs. Kids scattered petals. Riley and Luna leashed by elders. As we exchanged bands anew, engraved stolen and reclaimed, thunder grumbled distant, but sun broke through, a covenant sealed in storm's promise. Years layered on, dramas ebbing to ebbs. Teen rebellions with Mateo's coming out at 13, our steady hands guiding. Sophia's activism spark, marching mini-me. Alex's book on rights hit shelves, dedication to the stray who led me home. My gallery show, Hearts in the Rain, sold out, proceeds to youth shelters. In twilight years, gray threading temples, we'd walk the park bench plaque, grandkids tugging tales of the dog who sparked a dynasty. Love's plot twisted eternal, misunderstandings mended, prejudices pierced, in America's evolving epic, our chapter a testament, from stray rescue to heart heist, forever claimed. Decades turn brought unforeseen gales. Mateo, now a lanky 16 with my curls and Alex's fire, announced his truth over breakfast, pancakes cooling as he stammered, I'm gay, dads. Like you. Pride swelled, but undercurrents tugged. High school whispers already biting, a locker room shove echoing my youth. Alex hugged fierce, own it, Mijo. We're your shield. I sketched him then, fierce profile against dawn, captioning lineage of light for my next exhibit. But storms brewed external. A school board vote on inclusive curricula, Alex volunteering legal muscle, drawing local ire. Protests swelled outside meetings, signs spewing venom. Protect kids from indoctrination. One eve, as we picketed peacefully, eggs splattered the crowd, slurs flying. Mateo shielded Sophia, 9 and fierce, her sign love is law crumpling in tiny fists. Home that night, adrenaline crashed into reckoning. Alex paced, knuckles white. This is why I fight, so they don't have to. But exhaustion lined his eyes, the firm's demands unrelenting. I pulled him to the couch, Luna's successor, a fluffy rescue named Echo, nestling between. We're tag-teaming this, I insisted, proposing a family pact, weekly unplugged circles, voicing fears over Coco. Sophia piped first. The mean kids say we're weird. Mateo added shadows of crushes unrequited, and we shared scars. My closet confessions, Alex's rally bruises, turning pain to power. Elena, auntie extraordinaire, hosted sleepovers with Victor's tales of firehouse camaraderie, normalizing battles won. Twist struck sharp. A classmate's parent, emboldened by bored allies, sued Alex for harassment via advocacy emails. Frivolous, but draining. Depositions loomed, pulling him from family game nights, tension coiling like springs. I stepped up, illustrating a zine for the district, comics of diverse heroes, distributed underground till it sparked student walkouts. Media frenzy followed, local news framing us as activist family versus tradition, death threats spiking. One night, a brick through our window, freak show scrawled in red, shattered glass and illusions of safety. Police reports filed, but fear lodged deep. Mateo begged transfers, Sophia clung tighter. Crisis peaked at the hearing. Courthouse packed with allies and adversaries, air thick with judgment. Alex testified calm, dismantling claims with evidence, but midway, the parent lunged, shoving him against the rail, snarling epithets. Chaos erupted, bails shouting, Mateo lunging protectively, till security hauled the man away. Bruised but unbroken, Alex locked eyes with me across the room, a nod sealing solidarity. Verdict dropped charges, board flipping to inclusive policies, but the toll lingered. Therapy marathons, relocation whispers to Lila's upstate haven. Renewal rooted in retreat. We summered at her farm, chickens clucking judgment-free, fields for Sophia's cartwheels, Mateo fishing with Victor. Alex unplugged, chopping wood till blisters formed, laughter returning with fireflies. It's the real win, he said one dusk, hammock swayed with me. Kids roasting marshmallows nearby. Back in Brooklyn, fortified, alarms upgraded, community watches, we rebuilt. Mateo founding a GSA, Sophia's poetry slams drawing crowds. Dad, friendlier now, visited with war stories reframed. Fought Nazis once. This hates kin. His pride in grandkids' spines mended old rifts. Fall's harvest yielded unexpected fruit. The zine evolved into a grant-funded series, my art partnering with Alex's Law for national webinars. Marcus resurfaced, not thread, but olive branch, a donation to the youth fund. Note learned late, but learning. We accepted, boundaries firm, turning poison to progress. Holidays blended fuller, Dad carving turkey beside Lila's lax, Ma's flan shared with Theo's clan. Winter whispered maturities. Sophia, 11, grappled first crush, a non-binary classmate, navigating with our scripts of consent and courage. Mateo mentored, his college apps brimming essays on lineage. Echo's litter arrived, pups symbolizing cycles. One kept, named Storm, tail-wagging reminder of origins. Spring bloomed advocacy apex. Alex keynoting at a national conference, me projecting visuals live, our story woven into keynotes on resilience. Backstage, nerves jangled, but his hand and mine grounded. We stole each other's strength. Applause thundered, deals flowed for expanded work. Summer's idle, beach weeks in Provincetown, queer haven where hands held unhidden, kids splashing free. A squall hit, literal, drenching picnics, but we danced in it, echoing our rain-soaked start, laughter drowning thunder. As leaves turned again, a letter arrived, from the park bench's donor, anonymous till postmark revealed Dad, for the strays who found home. Love, pop tears fell reading it aloud, his scrawl shaky but sure. Legacy looped, conflicts cycled to growth. Decades danced on, empty nests with Mateo's law degree, Sophia's psych path mirroring Theo. Grandkids toddled, demanding doggy story iterations. Alex and I, silvered and softened, volunteered at shelters, rescuing strays, hearts full. In golden years, park walks slowed, canes tapping rhythms of recall. Under the plaque, Bench warmed by sun, we'd clasp hands. From theft to treasure. Alex quip, green eyes twinkling. Love's drama. Twists, trials. Faded to epic's close. But spark endured. A hook eternal in Brooklyn's beat. The empty nest echoed louder than expected. Loft vast with echoes of slammed doors and laughter ghosts. Mateo off to Harvard Law. Irony not lost. Following Alex's blueprint with my artistic flair in briefs. Sophia, diving into grad school at Columbia. Her thesis on queer mental health a torch passed. We rattled around. Echo graying beside Storm's vigor. Meals for two feeling like audits. Phase. Alex joked over wine, but his eyes held the ache of change. I countered with a trip. Amtrak to New Orleans. Jazz-haunted streets to stir dormant pulses. Mardi Gras beads tangled our necks. Beignet dusting chins as we two-stepped in Preservation Hall. His hand at my waist a time machine to fire escapes past. But idols invite intrusions. Back home, a call from the firm. Alex's protege, a sharp trans attorney named Riley, fate's wink, embroiled in a landmark custody battle. Biodads suing to protect from lesbian moms. Alex consulted pro bono, nights pouring files, fire rekindled, but at cost. Our jazz afterglow dimming. Resentment flickered. We're retired-ish, remember? I snapped one dawn, coffee splashing. He deflated. Can't unlearn the fight. Therapy beckoned anew. Virtual with Theo's successor, a non-binary sage named Jordan, who unpacked legacy traps. Sessions revealed my fear. Losing him to causes again, widow to a briefcase. Alex admitted guilt, mentoring as surrogate fatherhood post-kids. Homework, reclaim us time, birthing pottery classes where clay-smeared hands linked, vessels thrown lopsided but whole. Twist tangled tender. Riley's case drew national glare, paparazzi staking our stoop for Harlan's take. One ambushed Alex at the market. Mike thrust, question barbed. Does your own alternative family regret the lifestyle? Stunned silence, then riposte gold. My family thrives because of love, not labels. Yours. Clip viralized, support surging but stress spiking, sleepless nights, Alex's blood pressure climbing. I rallied, co-designing a podcast series, Hearts Unbroken, interviewing couples like us, episodes streamed from our kitchen table. Guests poured stories, overcoming conversions, building amid AIDS scars, each weaving our tapestry richer. Conflict crested at the trial. New Orleans courtroom, humid with tension, Riley's voice steady as she cross-examined the dad's bigotry masked as concern. Alex testified remotely, his gravitas tipping scales, but midway recess, a juror collapsed, heatstroke, mistrial looming. Chaos, delays, media frenzy, Riley cracking in hotel bar, bourbon tears, they'll take the kid. Alex mentored through, but home front frayed. I solo-handled a gallery deadline, sketches frantic, snapping at calls. Culmination, storming the courthouse steps post-adjournment, rain sheeting as verdict rang. Custody retained, appeals crushed. Elation electric, but Alex collapsed in hotel, vertigo from pressure drop. ER lights harsh, my vigil echoing old fears, doctors prescribing rest. Warrior down, time to sheath the sword. Recovery reshaped rhythms. Sabbatical enforced, we road-tripped again. This time southwest, canyons carving perspectives. Antelope slots narrows mirrored tight spots, emerging to sunsets painting us gold. Perspective shift, Alex mused, canteen shared. Back, podcast boomed, royalties funding a foundation, Stray Hearts Initiative, shelters for LGBTQ+ youth with art therapy wings. Lila partnered, her upstate farm a pilot site, grandkids, Mateo's twins, Sophia's adopted son, frolicking in sessions. Falls folly, dad's passing, quiet in sleep, leaving ma adrift in Queens. Funeral blended rites, rosary beads with eulogies quoting his softened stances. Alex eulogized. He bent toward light late, but bent true. Graveside, ma clutched my hand. You gave him grandbabies to brag on, and a son to respect. Healing unfolded slow, us shuttling her to Brooklyn weekends, cooking her recipes till sense summoned him. Winter warmed with wonders. Sophia's wedding, a garden affair to her partner, a poet with ink-stained fingers. us walking her aisle. Alex's toast weaving our saga into hers. Mateo's firm launch, specializing in family law, dedicated first win to the dads who scripted victory. Spring sparked Legacy's Leaf, a park bench expansion, cluster dedicated to queer elders, plaques etched with our hook tail. Dedication drew crowds, mayor's speech lauding the Harlan Reyes effect. But under applause, a heckler, faded echo of old foes, shouted slurs. Mateo shut it. History's on our side now. Security escorted, but ripple lingered, reminding progress porous. Summer's serenity, Europe jaunt, Paris cafes sketching, Rome's forums debating ancients' loves. A Colosseum eve, gelato melting, Alex knelt impromptu. Renew again? For all the chapters left. Rings swapped, tourists clapping, our yes a whisper against ruins. As autumn gilded again, health's hand hovered. Alex's checkup flagging prostate markers, echoes of dad. Biopsies clean, but vigilance vowed, us vowing fuller presences. Grandkids' stories evolved, twins demanding paw-print promises, Sophia's boy tracing murals. Decades distilled to essence. Walk slowed, but hands clasped firm. Loft a museum of us, sketches framed, law books shelved beside pottery. In quiet, we'd recount, rain, rescue, reclamation. Love's kinesis, dramatic detours, emotional eddies. Ebb to serene sea, but spark? Eternal, a stray's legacy in hearts forever hitched. Twilight's tapestry unraveled threads we thought woven tight. Ma's decline crept subtle, forgetting spices and flan, then names and calls, Alzheimer's shadow lengthening. We moved her to assisted living near the loft, her room wallpapered with family collages, but visits wrenched, her eyes lighting on us as handsome strangers, then piercing. Jamie Mijo, is that your lawyer, Beau? Laughter choked tears, Alex fielding her queries with patience saintly, reading her old letters aloud till she dozed. Sophia's practice boomed, but guilt gnawed, should have visited more, while Mateo's twins, now teens, quizzed on Abuela's magic. We curated memories, video oral histories, her voice tinny but timeless, recipes transcribed for grandkid kitchens. Parallel plot. Alex's foundation hit headwinds, funding cuts from shifting politics, board squabbles over priorities. He dove in, emeritus title be damned, rallying donors via Zooms that left him drained. One more push, he'd say, but I saw the toll, hands trembling on mugs, naps stolen mid-afternoon. Our pottery dates revived, Clay's centering breaths, Jordan's sessions virtual lifelines, grief's a thief. Guard your joy. Revelations resurfaced, my art block from Ma's fade, his overreach masking mortality fears. Homework, legacy letters, pinned to kids, selves, each other, mine to Alex. You stole my guarded heart, gifted it wings. Conflict coiled in spring's bloom. A foundation gala, black tie under chandeliers, drew old ghosts. Marcus, silver-foxed, toasting with calculated grace. Still fighting the good fight, he quipped, eyes on me appraising. Alex stiff-armed pleasantries, but later in cab, venom vented. He preys on vulnerabilities. Home, wine-fueled war. I accused avoidance, he mine. You freeze at confrontations. Culminating in slammed doors, Echo's successor, a wise terrier named Legacy, whining at the rift. Dawn apologies over bagels, but Wound wept, trust fragility in late chapters. Pivot propelled by peril. Jogging the park, ritual unbroken. Alex clutched chest mid-stride, crumpling to path. Panic surged, 911 blur, ER's fluorescent hell. Mild infarction, stents placed, his grip weak, but wry. Guess I overthrew the vase. Vigil blurred days, kids flying in, Sophia's tears, Mateo's stoic plans. Ma's confusion compounding, asking for the sick one. Recovery regimented, cardiac rehab walks with me, diet overhauls, goodbye beignet, foundation delegated to Riley. Humor healed, Alex dubbing his scar the love line, tracing it during couch cuddles. Summer salve, family cruise, Caribbean Isles, waves lulling tensions. Snorkeling revealed corals resilient, mirroring us. Deck talks with grandkids spun yarns of Abuelo's big heart adventure. Sophia confessed burnout. Mateo partnership strains. Roles reversed. Us mentoring now. A storm rocked the ship. Portholes pitching, but huddling in cabin. Alex quipped. Like our first rain. Rescue pending. Laughter anchored. Emerging to rainbows arcing seas. Fall fortified foundations. Ma's lucid spells gifted gems. Story of her youth. Flirting with a cousin at Quinceañeras, but duty called. Unveiling bisexuality veiled. We honored. Pride pin on her lapel. Stories shared in therapy circles. Alex's health stabilized. Co-authoring a memoir with me illustrating Stolen Hearts. A love and litigation. Bestseller birthing scholarships. Winter's whisper. Holidays hybrid. Zoom toasts bridging coasts. Legacy's pups scampered. Chaos cherished. Dad's anniversary. We visited grave. Snow-dusted stone. Alex laying roses. Bent toward us all. Spring's surge. Riley's wedding. Us best men tandem. Vows echoing ours. Her custody when framed on mantle. Symbol steadfast. Summer idols. Upstate farm stays. Lila's legacy thriving. Youth camps where grandkids volunteered, tracing our arc in clay. As leaves turned final turns, frailties framed fullness. Ma passed gently, surrounded by songs in Spanish, her last smile for Alex. Good thief, that one. Eulogy blended her fire with ours, burial beside Dad, hands clasped eternal. Alex's turn came soft, cancer quiet, treatments a gauntlet we walked linked. Kids rallied, grandkids drawings papering walls. Final park bench sit. Best heist ever, he breathed, head on shoulder. Passing at home, legacy at feet, circle complete. Alone? Never. Echoes in art shows perpetual, foundation flourishing, family fractal. I sketched till pencils dulled, tales told to great-grand pups. Love's drama, hooks hurled, hearts hauled, faded not, but flowered eternal, in Brooklyn's boundless blue.